I do feel for the bus drivers, I have to say.
I feel for the bus drivers because they're more, and you know, to be taking on different passengers. However, I think buggies generally are too big. Now that it's this kind of thing that we are mollycoddling and we really have to look after our treasure, and there are huge buggies. So they're not coming, so they've got the big mountain, you know, as if they're going to go up thing. I think the disabled people take preference, and it doesn't go quite far enough.
What's going to happen if, in the light of this ruling, a driver says to a parent with a buggy, infant or not in it, doesn't really matter, you need to move to make way for this person in a wheelchair, and the parent says no.
Well, I mean, there are other things
well, the baby's not feeling
ejecting.
well.
You can fine that you know, you can say, OK, we're stopping the bus for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then I think peer pressure would quite quickly go, because you're stopping a lot of people moving. You can say, OK, you can stay on the bus, but it will be a fine of blah, blah, blah. I just think ejecting, it means... don't they have to be ejected by police anyway? You'd have to.
Well, I don't know. I was just thinking back to my
witnesses,
school days when people used to get regularly ejected off the bus by the driver, and there was a lot of shouting, but I never saw any punches thrown. But as I said, 1 in 3 drivers are assaulted, Stefan.
I think that's the twist, isn't it? It seems pretty clear to me that a disabled person in a wheelchair has precedence over a pushchair, but they have fewer potential modes of transport to get anywhere anyway. And I think that
the area is reserved for them. There's a little sign saying as much.
So what's really interesting about this story is that it's the burden of responsibility being given to somebody who is not a policeman, doesn't have a huge amount of the powers to be able to do what the law now says they're expected to do. In one sense, at least, it gives them...
The law is only saying talk. It's gone from ask to tell.
To tell. And then what do you do? And I think this idea that you stop the bus and everyone's going to go, "Oh, move your wheelchair," that, I'm afraid, that just doesn't happen. When I've seen conflicts with a bus driver on the bus, everyone else sits there going... I think it's a big problem. Do you bring back conductors on buses? I don't think we can afford to. And certainly on a lot of buses we couldn't afford to, although there are a few buses that still have them. But it's this weird idea that suddenly other people are the arbiters of the law and need to apply it. And that's really tricky. And... you know, you're giving a bus driver responsibilities that I don't think they should have to shoulder. It's a tricky one. How do you do it?